هل أتى على الإنسان حين من الدهر لم يكن شيئا مذكورا إنا خلقنا الإنسان من نطفة أمشاج نبتليه فجعلناه سميعا بصيرا إنا هديناه السبيل إما شاكرا وإما كفورا إنا أعتدنا للكافرين سلاسل وأغلالا وسعيرا إن الأبرار يشربون من كأس كان مزاجها كافورا عينا يشرب بها عباد الله يفجرونها تفجيرا يوفون بالنذر ويخافون يوما كان شره مستطيرا ويطعمون الطعام على حبه مسكينا ويتيما وأسيرا إنما نطعمكم لوجه الله لا نريد منكم جزاء ولا شكورا إنا نخاف من ربنا يوما عبوسا قمطريرا فوقاهم الله شر ذلك اليوم ولقاهم نضرة وسرورا وجزاهم بما صبروا جنة وحريرا متكئين فيها على الأرائك لا يرون فيها شمسا ولا زمهريرا ودانية عليهم ظلالها وذللت قطوفها تذليلا ويطاف عليهم بآنية من فضة وأكواب كانت قوارير من فضة قدروها تقديرا ويسقون فيها كأسا كان مزاجها زنجبيلا عينا فيها تسمى سلسبيلا ويطوف عليهم ولدان مخلدون إذا رأيتهم حسبتهم لؤلؤا منثورا وإذا رأيت ثم رأيت نعيما وملكا كبيرا عاليهم ثياب سندس خضر وإستبرق وحلوا أساور من فضة وسقاهم ربهم شرابا طهورا إن هذا كان لكم جزاء وكان سعيكم مشكورا إنا نحن نزلنا عليك القرآن تنزيلا فاصبر لحكم ربك ولا تطع منهم آثما أو كفورا واذكر اسم ربك بكرة وأصيلا ومن الليل فاسجد له وسبحه ليلا طويلا إن هؤلاء يحبون العاجلة ويذرون وراءهم يوما ثقيلا نحن خلقناهم وشددنا أسرهم وإذا شئنا بدلنا أمثالهم تبديلا إن هذه تذكرة فمن شاء اتخذ إلى ربه سبيلا وما تشاءون إلا أن يشاء الله إن الله كان عليما حكيما يدخل من يشاء في رحمته والظالمين أعد لهم عذابا أليما بسم الله.
Assalamu alaikum, everyone who has joined us so far. Just to give a few more minutes, I will play another short surah so that more people can join in here. Inshallah.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم عبس وتولى أن جاءه الأعمى وما يدريك لعله يزكى أو يذكر فتنفعه الذكرى أما من استغنى فأنت له تصدى وما عليك ألا يزكى وأما من جاءك يسعى وهو يخشى فأنت عنه تلهى كلا إنها تذكرة فمن شاء ذكره في صحف مكرمة مرفوعة مطهرة بأيدي سفرة كرام بررة قتل الإنسان ما أكفره من أي شيء خلقه من نطفة خلقه فقدره ثم السبيل يسره ثم أماته فأقبره ثم إذا شاء أنشره كلا لما يقض ما أمره فلينظر الإنسان إلى طعامه أنا صببنا الماء صبا ثم شققنا الأرض شقا فأنبتنا فيها حبا وعنبا وقضبا وزيتونا ونخلا وحدائق غلبا وفاكهة وأبا متاعا لكم ولأنعامكم فإذا جاءت الصاخة يوم يفر المرء من أخيه وأمه وأبيه وصاحبته وبنيه لكل امرئ منهم يومئذ شأن يغنيه وجوه يومئذ مسفرة ضاحكة مستبشرة ووجوه يومئذ عليها غبرة ترهقها قترة أولئك هم الكفرة الفجرة. بسم الله الرحمن
Assalamu alaikum, bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Assalamu alaikum, dear brothers and sisters, dear viewers and spectators. I wanted to welcome you to this occasion for a webinar organized by the German and Austrian chapter of Imamia Medics International, the webinar entitled Ramadan Lifestyle and Health Benefits of Fasting. Inshallah, in 2 weeks, we will have Ramadan starting, so it's quite a suitable topic. So I wanted to first of all welcome the community, the public in Germany, in Austria, our viewers in Europe, and of course all our viewers globally in the US, in the UK, in Europe, in India and Pakistan. I also wanted to welcome the viewers of the Imamia Islamic Council Europe Schengen, who kindly agreed to rebroadcast our program on their YouTube channel to widen our approach and appeal. Just a short kind of overview. We will start with a quick introduction. So I will tell those who are not so familiar with Imamia Medics International about the organization. And then I will introduce our speakers, and we will then hand over to Sister Jumana for the webinar. At the end of the webinar, we will have time for question and answers. So you can either post your questions in the Q&A box at the bottom or in the chat box, or you could raise your hand if you want to directly speak and ask your question. So I'm just sharing my screen. So for those who are not familiar with Imamia Medics International or are visiting one of our programs for the first time, IMI, as it's known, Imamia Medics International, is a charitable Muslim organization which is made up of healthcare professionals, and so doctors, nurses, paramedics, associated health personnel, and scientists who work in the field of healthcare. And we all come from diverse backgrounds and are united in the aim to serve humankind under the guidance set out in the Holy Quran, and the guidance lived out by the example of our Holy Prophet and his Ahlul Bayt and progeny. So Imamia Medics has people from most adult ages, from the newly qualified doctor to the retired paramedic. We have students, we have professors, so a wide-ranging collection of professionals. We have pledged our resources to help the disadvantaged communities and people in need, either be it locally or worldwide. And Imamia Medics does it through a combination of charitable activities. One prime example to mention is the Hajj, the annual Hajj camp, which pre-COVID has been annually established by IMI Pakistan in Mecca, and the annual Arba'in health camps in Karbala and Najaf. There is activities in the sense of disaster relief. So Imamia Medics sent out delegations a decade ago when the floods hit northern Pakistan, and also for the Haiti earthquake 15 years ago. Another prime goal of our activities is patient education and enhancing patients' understanding of common public health issues. Another aspect which we aim to achieve is peer support and networking for healthcare professionals. So previously, pre-COVID, there used to be an annual global Imamia Medics conference and several regional and local conferences where healthcare professionals would mingle, exchange, and learn about each other's activities and expertise. Imamia Medics International was founded in 1994 by a group of young South Asian doctors under the guidance of Dr. Waji Rizvi in New Jersey and USA. And since its inception, which involved a lot of work, Imamia Medics, mashallah, has gone from strength to strength. We have now national chapters established on 5 continents. So that the USA was the first chapter. very soon a chapter in Britain followed, chapters in Pakistan, in India. And now we have chapters in New Zealand, Australia, Canada, mashallah, a very large chapter in Iraq, which is very essential in organizing the Arba'in health camps. In Europe, the biggest chapter is in Britain, but there are chapters in Norway, Ireland, and more recently, or a year ago, we had established a chapter in Germany and Austria. A little bit about our local chapter, Germany and Austria. So that was the talks about a German-speaking chapter has been going on for a number of years. And I want to mention Nisa Nahwi uncle, Mehdi Hayat uncle, Mazhar Jafri uncle, and Kamran Niyaz Bhai, who have been essential in sowing the seeds. This group in Vienna started to kind of organize things a few years ago, but it really kicked off a year ago with the IMI mega event in the previous Ramadan. And gradually we have managed to gather healthcare professionals, doctors, scientists across Germany and Austria with the aim to establish a German-speaking chapter of Imamia Medics. And we want to use this platform to engage and connect with our German-speaking community across Germany and Austria. And these type of kind of events and functions are essential. So far, unfortunately, we haven't managed to meet each other face to face, but we have been doing it online. Before we start, I just wanted to do a couple of announcements. So this is a global event in English, which IMI Austria Germany is holding. We are, inshallah, planning to have a couple of more events. We're planning to have a couple of German events, one on the 11th of April together with the Shura Hamburg, which will start the Hamburg Ramadan Pavilion. So announcements for that will be, inshallah, coming on our website. Inshallah, on the 24th or 25th of April, on that weekend, we will also do a separate German program from IMI Austria Germany. And on the 17th or 18th, again, the exact date will be confirmed on the 17th or 18th of August. We are inshallah planning to do a Urdu speaking program in association with the Imamia Islamic Council in Europe, who have brought together different mosques and associations across the Schengen area of the European Union. Now, I just stopped sharing, so I hope you can all see me now. So I want to introduce our speakers. So our main speaker is Jumana Jaber. She studied at the Lebanese International University, and she has a bachelor degree in biomedical sciences. So she completed her degree from the Lebanese International University. She afterwards worked as a laboratory technician at an international hospital in Kuwait. And now she is a researcher, and she's doing a master's degree in cardiovascular science at the medical faculty of Göttingen University. Göttingen University is one of the preeminent universities, particularly in the science field in Germany. And then we have got Dr. Hassan Ramadan. Hassan Ramadan is an old friend, and he grew up in northern Germany and then moved to Hamburg. He first did his degree in training in nursing, and then he studied medicine at the University of Hamburg. He's now been a doctor for a number of years and is now in specialty training in cardiology at the Rheinberg Hospital in Hamburg. So without much ado, I want to give the screen to Sister Jumana to start her presentation. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Ajaz, for this introduction. So I will be sharing my screen. Can you all see my screen, right? Yeah, okay, perfect. So today, our webinar will be about the Ramadan lifestyle and the health benefits of fasting. It is It's divided into 4 parts. The first part will be the introduction, and in the introduction, I will give you a brief introduction about the history of fasting. The second part will be the effects of fasting on our health, and the third part will be the Ramadan lifestyle. And this will include 3 things to maintain balance in Ramadan. First is the diet, and the second is exercise. Third will be the diet, sleeping, and exercise. These 3, if maintained well, will give you the perfect Ramadan experience. And the last part will be your questions. So starting with the introduction, Plato, who is known to be the most important Western philosopher during the 5th century, and he was also the student of Socrates, and he was the teacher of Aristotle, once said that I fast for greater physical and mental efficiency. It was always known that one of the oldest therapies in medicine was fasting. So fasting is practiced in many religions in our world, and like example of these religions is Islam. We have fasting in Hinduism, in Judaism, in Buddhism, Christianity, and also ancient Greek. Also, fasting is practiced by professional yoga coaches, and they actually practice somehow similar to the Prophet intermittent fasting, which is on Monday and on Thursdays. Hippocrates, who's the father of the Western medicine, once said about fasting that fasting will enable the body to heal itself. While Paracelsus also said that fasting is the greatest remedy and it's the physician within. God said in Surah Al-Baqarah, verse 184, is to fast is best for you if you only knew. So going to the second part of the presentation, the effect of Ramadan fasting on our health. To start with the cardiovascular health, meaning the health of the heart and our blood vessel. So there was this study in 2014, and it was published in the European Journal of Clinical Nutrition, where they have found an increase in the nitric oxide in our body. And nitric oxide actually preserves the normal cardiovascular physiology, meaning it will improve, the increase of this nitric oxide will improve the cardiovascular health. It was also shown in this particular study that also fasting, Ramadan fasting, will improve blood pressure, triglyceride, and cholesterol levels. So the next part also here, you can also see another 2 studies that will show the correlation between the cardiovascular health and the blood lipid profile. And if you can see with me here from the left side, this line is representing Ramadan until the end of Ramadan, which is in the middle of the line. And then from the middle of the line until the end of the line represent the 1 month after Ramadan. So these parameters actually are sustained within Ramadan and 1 month after Ramadan. So what are these parameters? The first parameter is cholesterol. Cholesterol level will decrease during Ramadan. And also the triglyceride level is shown in these studies that it will decrease. What about the mean body weight? The mean body weight will decrease 2.6% on the day 29 of Ramadan. And then it was shown that the HDL and the LDL will also have some changes after Ramadan. And first, I would like to explain what's HDL and what's LDL. So HDL is the high density lipoprotein, and it's a lipoprotein that will grab cholesterol and will take them from the bloodstream to the liver. But the LDL, which is considered the bad cholesterol or the low density lipoprotein, will, if it's very high, it will take up the cholesterol and it will build up inside the blood vessel wall. This accumulation of a cholesterol inside the blood vessel wall will eventually cause something called atherosclerosis. And atherosclerosis is meaning of a plug that is blocking the blood flow passage in the blood vessels of the heart. So so in these studies, it have been shown that the HDL, which is the good cholesterol, is increasing in Ramadan, while LDL, the bad cholesterol, will decrease during Ramadan and also will be sustained 1 month after the end of Ramadan. So the conclusion is Ramadan fasting may contribute to the prevention of coronary heart disease or atherosclerosis. So in other 3 studies shown at the bottom of the slide, so they have shown that there is a change in the inflammatory markers. And by change, I mean decrease in inflammatory markers. So what does inflammatory markers represent? So sometimes we will suffer from acute inflammatory disease such as some injury will cause us acute inflammation, an infection will cause increase in inflammatory markers, and also some chronic diseases like what happens when someone is suffering from diabetes or heart disease, allergies, arthritis, or multiple sclerosis. So it has been shown in these studies that there will be a decrease of tumor necrosis factor, interleukin-1 beta and interleukin-6, and C-reactive proteins. And with these increase of these markers, there will be less inflammation occurring in the mentioned diseases. In the same studies, they were also investigating the blood pressure parameters. So we have 2 indicators of blood pressure. We have the systolic blood pressure, which will indicate the blood pressure while there is a contraction in the heart, and the diastolic blood pressure, which indicates the blood pressure while there is relaxation in the heart muscle. So in Ramadan, they have been noticed that there is systolic and diastolic blood pressure will decrease. And actually, this is very good for people who are suffering from high blood pressure. And why is that? Because people with high blood pressure will tend to have or to suffer from stroke, from heart failure, kidney failure. So this is very good for people with very high blood pressure. Many people tend to say, I feel lazy during Ramadan, I feel very clumsy, I have no energy. And there was a study in 2020 in the University of Sfax in Tunisia, where they were actually monitoring the physical performance of athletes that who were participating in competition and in a fasted state. So what was the result of this study? It have been shown that even in a fasted state, these athletes, the Ramadan fasting didn't actually have a large impact on their performance. Actually, it was a very little impact on their physical performance. And what was the cause of this fatigue in some people? It was actually the deprivation of sleep and the poor nutrition. So optimizing or trying to minimize the fatigue is by having adequate amount of sleep at night and not during the day, and also having a healthy diet. 70% of our immune system resides in our guts. What does that mean? That means that we have a large society, let's say, of good bacteria in our guts. And this good bacteria is actually maintaining our good immunity, maintaining our immunity, sorry. So it's also called a gut microbiome. And why is that? Why they have found that there will be an increase in the gut microbiota in Ramadan. Why is that the case? So while fasting, this fasting period will give our digestive system or these good bacteria in our guts time to relax. And this time to relax, our body will start using it to repair itself on the cellular level. And this study was in 2019 and also published in the Turkish Journal of Gastroenterology. There was another study in 2012 that was focusing on two things. The first one is the growth hormone, and the second thing is the weight loss by a neurotransmitter called norepinephrine. The first part is the growth hormone. So what is growth hormone? At first, growth hormone is a hormone that is very important for our growth, for the metabolism, for the weight loss, and also for muscle strength. So it has been shown that Ramadan fasting will increase this growth hormone secretion. And in the same study, it has been shown that while fasting, a neurotransmitter called norepinephrine will become released in a higher level, and this neurotransmitter will enhance in the weight loss. It has been also shown that Ramadan fasting will actually protect your brain health and will enhance your cognitive function. What's cognitive function? So in cognitive function, it includes thinking, perception, memory, and also language skills. So this is all improved because of fasting. And as we mentioned earlier, Ramadan fasting will decrease inflammatory markers. Also, in these two studies, it have been also shown that Ramadan fasting will decrease these inflammatory markers, and thus it will prevent from diseases like Alzheimer and Parkinson's disease, which are known to be neurodegenerative disorders. The only thing that is affecting your health during Ramadan is actually the increase in serum urea and serum uric acid. And this was a study in 2004 where it showed that because of the dehydration that most of the Muslims are suffering during Ramadan, there will be increase in these two, in serum urea and serum uric acid. And why is that the case? Why dehydration is affecting these two things? It's because in the case of serum urea, it's increased because the blood flow inside the kidney, it's reduced. It's just because of that dehydration. So we have hypovolemia. So of course we will have low blood flow inside our kidneys. Also, because of that, because of the low blood flow in the kidneys, there will also be the kidney will also be less functional, so the uric acid will recede inside our kidneys, and this is actually very not good to our health. The lifestyle, the Ramadan lifestyle, which will be the third part in this presentation and the last one, It will be the correlation between healthy lifestyle in Ramadan and the impact on our health. So I have created this triangle, and I have named this triangle the healthy fasting triangle. And if you just remember these three things in Ramadan, you will maintain balance throughout Ramadan. And what are these three things? It's the sleep. Remember, sleeping in Ramadan is essential, and it should be like 8 hours, 6 or 8 hours, and it should be at night and not during during the day. And I will explain that in the part of sleeping. The second thing is that the diet. We should maintain a healthy diet during Ramadan and also in the whole year. But why I'm saying that, it's the quality and the quantity of your food that will affect your life, and also it will affect if there will be a disease afterwards or no caused by the diet. The last thing is the exercise. You should maintain you should always exercise even during Ramadan, and we will speak about it in the part of exercise. Prophet Muhammad once said that the son of Adam cannot fill a vessel worse than his stomach, as it is enough for him to take few bites to strengthen his back. If he cannot do it, then he may fill it with a third of his food, a third of his drink, and a third of his breath. There was a global study that was from 1990 until 2017. So that's a 27 years of time. And it was on 195 countries. This study is a systemic analysis, and it was calculating the global burden of disease. In this study, it has been shown that there is 10.9 million deaths per year due to cardiovascular diseases. And when investigating more in this study, they have been shown that the cause of this cardiovascular disease was actually due to poor diet. The second thing that they have found in this global study is that there is 255 million people per year will had suffered from disability adjusted life years, DALY. What does that mean? It's actually a calculation of the overall disease burden that will conclude the life lived with disability or with this disease, let's say heart disease, which will be a poor life actually, and not a healthy life. And then it will also include the life lost because of this disease. So the lifespan will shorten because of this disease. In the same study, it has been shown that Egypt has the highest rate of diet-related deaths, while Japan has the lowest rate of diet-related deaths. And why is that the case? So it's very important to know that the food quantity and quality matters. And just in looking at this picture, the picture at the right side, you will come to see the usual meal in Japan. So it includes a salmon, it will include veggies, it will include eggs and beans, rice, and this all means that they are having a good quality of food that have vitamins, that have proteins, that have minerals, that have fiber, and a good fat, which is the omega. And they also tend to have very small amount of food and not very large amount of food. So what is the solution? instead of having processed sugar, you can have the natural sugar, sugar that comes from the fruits. And you have variety of options when coming to fruits. You have you have the dates, the bananas, the pomegranate, and these all this kind of so the fruits actually, they are full of minerals, they're full of vitamins, and also of antioxidant. Remember, you can still have your favorite traditional food. You can still eat your traditional food, but you can cook them in a more healthier way. So instead of frying the food, you can consider grilling them, baking them, steaming them, or even eating them raw, as like our tabbouleh in Lebanon. So yeah, remember, always eat wisely and choose your food correctly. Limit your food quantity. And this is mentioned in Surah Al-A'raf, verse 31. Eat and drink, but do not waste. Surely he does not like the wasteful. Remember to befriend the fiber. And why I'm saying that, why fiber is so important in our diet. It's because it makes you feel full, and there's no need to eat a lot. So a small quantity of fibers will make you feel full. And also it will reduce cholesterol, and it will reduce constipation, which many Muslims are suffering due to the dehydration in Ramadan. And also fiber will feed the good bacteria in your guts. And we mentioned that good bacteria will actually improve your immune system. It's also shown that fibers will reduce the blood sugar spikes. And I will explain this in the next slide. What does it mean, the blood sugar spikes? And also it will reduce the risk of collateral cancer. By focusing on losing weight in Ramadan, please don't forget to build up your muscle. You must sustain the strength of your muscle even during Ramadan. And to do that, it's not only by exercising, but also by eating food that is rich with protein. And where can we find protein? It's in fish, in eggs, in beans, in red meat, and also in milk. I also forgot to mention that fiber is found in vegetables, in fruits, in wheat bran, in oats, in also dates and dried fruits. So yeah, please consider these food in your meal. Mahatma Gandhi, one of the greatest political and spiritual leaders in the 20th century, he practiced fasting so that as a part of his religion, and also he believed that fasting cleanses the body, also cleanses the soul. He once said that anyone can fast, but only the wise knows how to break his fast. Please remember this in Ramadan. So fasting and gaining weight. I think many of you have heard of sumo wrestlers. So they are wrestlers in Japan, and they have to have this very huge weight. And how they gain this weight, even in a short period of time. So they tend to fast for 20 or 24 hours, and then they will have this huge meal full of carbs and full of fats. And in this way, they will be able to gain weight very easily and very fast. And in Ramadan, we don't want to have the same result as the sumo wrestlers. Of course, you're very hungry and you want to eat, and we are not saying that you shouldn't eat or eat like in Ramadan, but try to eat wisely, try to eat in a low quantity, and also in a healthy way. Choose your food in a wise way. To explain about the blood sugar, the level of the blood sugar and how it changes in the way like we eat. So there is a effect called roller coaster effect. And you can see in this graph, so the green line here represents the blood sugar when we eat like the normal sugar and normal amount of sugar during the day. And actually the x-axis represents the time, the y-axis represents the blood sugar level in our body. Eating healthy, eating fruits, vegetables, and all the healthy stuff will sustain your blood level in a certain way. So it will be just a small wave of blood sugar. But if we will start eating a very high fat diet or high carbohydrate diet, what will happen is actually we will have this spike of insulin in our body. So our body will release insulin in a very high amounts. This insulin will start grabbing all the glucose and keeping them inside the cells. So our body will start to feel that there is a very low glucose in our body, and there will be we will suffer from hypoglycemia, which means low glucose level. And then we will crave, our brain will start telling us to eat more sugar because we will start craving sugar. There is no more in our body. We will start eating more sugar, and then also again the insulin will be released in a high amount, and so on and so on. So it's like a roller coaster, as you can see in the red line. So what will happen if we will have this kind of diet, and what is the consequences? Actually, the consequences is that you will this will lead to having diabetes and also weight gain, which we actually don't want during Ramadan and also during the rest of the year. Remember to stay hydrated during Ramadan. And I mentioned why before, because we need to sustain the kidney health during Ramadan, and also not to increase the serum urea and serum uric acid. So for that, you can drink 8 glasses. You should drink at least 8 glasses per day. And try to limit tea and coffee because they are diuretics. So the part of sleeping, this is actually a very interesting study done in 2001 and published in the Journal of Sleep Research. So this study will explain for you about the sleep onset. So sleep onset is actually delayed when our nocturnal core body temperature is increased. So what does nocturnal core body temperature is? It's the core body temperature at night. And they are saying when this is increased, our sleep onset will be delayed. So what are the factors in Ramadan that are increasing this core nocturnal core blood temperature? So because of the spicy meals we are adding to our iftar, and because of the high carbohydrate iftar, and these are increasing the core body temperature. Also, they have found that nocturnal exercise, meaning the exercise after iftar at midnight, let's say, or at night, we are having this vigorous exercise. It will also affect our alertness. It will make us more alert and more awake. It has been also shown that in Ramadan, especially, there will be a lot of exposure to the bright light. And because of that, they have studied that there should be at least like more than 3 hours because of the 3 hours exposure to bright light before the sleep. This is affecting our sleep. Because of these all factors, our cortisol level will be affected. So what is cortisol? Cortisol is actually the stress hormone that will make us more alert and more awake. It's at the peak at 7 a.m. in the morning usually, and it should be the case in the whole year. But what happened in Ramadan is that because of these factors and these that are affecting the core temperature, and eventually they are affecting our sleep timing, so the cortisol will be at the peak in the morning and after iftar, and also at midnight, because many of the Muslims will stay awake even after midnight, and they will stay eating and exercising. So to conclude that, if you try to limit the spicy food, limit carbohydrate diet, and also try to avoid having this nocturnal exercise and also bright light, this will help you to sleep at night and also to decrease the core temperature in your body. The last part that I will conclude in this, I will talk about in this webinar is the exercise. Don't forget to exercise daily, even in Ramadan. Exercises like walking, cycling, jogging, or even light aerobic workouts are very good in Ramadan. 20 to 30 minutes daily is also enough. You can either exercise right before iftar, so that you have exercise a lot, and then you can go home and then you can have the meal directly after exercising, because we need energy, and also you can drink lots of water after this exercise, or you can exercise after iftar or even before suhoor. But try not to exercise during the day where you cannot drink or eat, because this will make you lose lots of energy and will cause you dehydration. And to conclude this webinar, remember that Ramadan is the month of becoming the best version of yourself. And it's the month of ibadah, and yeah, may God accept this from us. You will never achieve righteousness until you donate some of what you cherish, and whatever you give is certainly well known to Allah. This is in Surah Al-Imran, verse 92. And why I'm telling that, it's because according to the United Nations, 16.2 million Yemenis are food insecure. 400,000 Yemeni children may starve to death in 2021. So to share our love with Yemeni people, I ask you that you can donate in these two platforms if you are able, of course. We have the Imamiya Madik platform, where you can donate a food basket to Yemeni people, and this is the website to Imamiya Madiks. And also you can donate for Insan. It's also a organization that helps Yemeni people especially. And with that, I'm at the end of my presentation. I thank you all for your attention, and I hope that you will take advantage, you have took advantage from this presentation, and you can apply some of this in Ramadan, inshallah. If you have any question, we are happy to answer.
Thank you very much for your excellent presentation. I mean, a lot of details, very insightful, and particularly I found it very interesting to listen to the physiological basis of the changes in the body during fasting. Particularly, you explained the cycle of wrongful fasting, to when you have heavy meals late at night, that disturbs the sleep, and that then causes fatigue and makes you more frustrated. So I think if correctly done, fasting is a combination of dietary, physical, mental, and spiritual exercise, if I can summarize it this way. And that should, inshallah, hopefully lead to a kind of wholesome, beneficial health outcome. And not just for the individual but, or for the body, but also for the mind and for society as well. It's a truly holistic approach to health, which Islam, mashallah, is. So as Sister Jumana said, we are happy to receive some questions, and I'm already seeing some questions in the question and answer box. So I will go through the questions. You can also raise your hand to ask questions. The first question we have, and that's a very good and very interesting question, is a brother or sister is asking, in Germany and some Western or Northern countries, the day is too long in summertime, and we've just gone through a period where Ramadan was in June and July. And hence, the person feels very fatigued when fasting. What are your recommendations to stay productive and energetic during the day? So Dr. Hassan and Jumana, if you have any thoughts to that.
So feeling fatigue in Ramadan, we will experience eventually, but as the studies that I have shown, it will have less impact if we will maintain good sleep in Ramadan, and also having good nutrition, and try to have the food that will not make you alert at night. Try to drink lots of water. I recommend also to eat very healthy food that will keep you energetic during the day. And if you're in a place also that is very hot or summery or like this, try to avoid at least the sun during Ramadan, so you will still have your energy. Yeah.
Brother Hassan?
Assalamu alaikum. First, thank you very much, Sister Jumana. MashaAllah, very nice and excellent presentation. I agree with the points of Sister Jumana, and I will say we have to use the best of this month. If you think about the kind of break, the fasting of fast breaking, yes, you remember in our traditionals we called Ramadan as the month of the barakat, yes. So that's, I think, very difficult if you think about the health type, because the barakat is the rahmah which comes from Allah. But in the way of the fasting or fast breaking, I think we have to use the best healthy way of eating, of fasting, of fast breaking. So what I think the points that Sister Jumana mentioned in her presentation are very important points, and you have an idea how to use the fruits, how to use the water, how to drink water. She gives you exactly the idea of how water you have to drink, which kind of sugar you have to use. So I think if you try to use this way, your fasting will be a little bit easier. Okay, and inshallah, the time goes. The time will be a little bit friendlier. You know, if you remember the last 15 years, yes, we have fasting about 20, 21 hours now. We come the times 18, 17. So if you did fast the last year, so I think this year will be not a problem, inshallah. And with this, some tips and ideas from Sister Jumana, inshallah, you will have a successfully fasting and breaking of fast.
Another question kind of linking up with that is probably not so much now, but a few kind of years ago, we had only 3 to 4 hours between iftar and sehri. So how it's sometimes difficult to combine a good sleep, enough fluid intake, enough eating for that time, isn't it? So what are your thoughts on that? Probably it's a case of finding compromises, isn't it?
Yeah,
Brother
actually,
Hassan and Sister Jumana, yeah?
yeah, if
Yeah.
I can say about that. So actually, what we are saying in the presentation is the ideal way of fasting. If you're able to do that, if you're able to like drink 8 glasses per day, if you're able to exercise, if you're able to eat a very healthy and sleep well, but this is not the case for everyone. Like some people will have night shifts, some people will have are unable to sleep well at night, or unable to, let's say, uh, maintain this healthy way. My answer is to in Ramadan, we have to, let's say, I also saw a question about exercise. So also, if you're able to maintain healthy lifestyle in Ramadan as much as you can, this is very good for your health. But of course, it's very difficult from country to country. And I think the best way is to try to eat well in Ramadan, very, very well. If you are fasting for a long period of time, try to eat food that is that will make you feel full as much as possible, and also drink lots of water. Yeah, but it's of course more difficult for us in European countries, because we fast for a long period of time.
Brother Mohi is asking a question. He's an athlete, sleeps well, maintains a healthy diet, but he finds it difficult to do a workout in Ramadan. Is there an explanation for that? I think everybody has to find his or her right level of exercise, isn't it, Brother Hassan, that he can maintain?
Yes, I agree. I think everybody. I talk with some brothers and sisters about the point. A normal human like my person or another isn't can't compare with the athletic. Okay, if you're athletic boy or girl, you have more condition, you have self-organization, yes, in the normal day, and you have a discipline how to train. Also in Ramadan, if you think about the World Cup for some years, there was Iran and Algeria. I remember they played, and that was in Ramadan, and they were fasting. So it's on yourself. I think you know yourself, and you know what kind of exercise you can do, and what kind you can use, and how you can do the exercise. And I think it's important to understand that exercising or sport is important to be close to the time about the eating, or about the break fasting, okay, fast breaking. So I think that's important. But I think it's an individual it's an individual point. Okay, every people are not has other system to eat and to break his fasting.
I think you have to probably again make some compromises, do less exercise, but still do exercise during Ramadan. If we can come to a slightly different topic, one sister is asking about medication. So a lot of people have to take regular medication for chronic illnesses during Ramadan, and particularly when the time between iftar and sahri is short. There might be some problems. So in this example, the sister is taking atorvastatin, valsartan, and thyroxine, which are different types of blood pressure and cholesterol medications. Well, what advice would you give, Brother Hassan, on medication taking during Ramadan? At iftar time, sahri time?
I would say if you have, we have 2 points. If you have the once time, the medicament you use once time, I think there's no big problem to organize yourself. If you say the first or the time, the first time after iftar, yes, that you have, if you begin with the date, yeah, as example, or milk, then you can use this medicament, yeah, like valsartan, or then, or you can choose if you want to take it a little bit later, before of the end of the suhoor. Okay, you can use medicaments like atorvastatin. Okay, then you have a little difference. So I think it's possible. It's possible, and many people do it like this way. But in the first time, you have to know if you have the energy to, if you have the energy to fast. Yeah, if you are a very ill people, if you use more medicaments, you have to talk with your doctor, as example, to get his suggestion. So, but if you organize yourself in Ramadan to take it in the beginning time of the iftar, or in the time of the suhoor, I think it will be not a problem.
Yeah, I think I agree. It's most medications are once a day. Sometimes you, again, might have difficulty if you can't keep 12 hours between medications. It's always useful to discuss this with your personal physician or practitioner, because he will know your background and the exact dynamics of the medication. Another kind of question which I had was, well, we talked a lot about kind of exercise, and I think that's been very helpful. Another question is from Brother Said Zadi. Is it okay to encourage children to fast during the holy month of Ramadan? And probably everyone will have different experience from his or her childhood, or from kind of other children, their own children or other children. Yeah. Brother Hassan, Jumana.
Yeah, if I can comment about. So this is different from a child to child also, and you can encourage the children, let's say, to fast until the mid of the day if they are able to. That will be a starting point. You know, you can start with few hours of fasting, and so that they will also be happy that they are practicing what you're practicing, and then year after year they will it will be easier to them. But fasting for them the whole day, it depends on the child, it depends on how he can tolerate, and it's very I think it's very wise that you start like with the half day and then more.
Yes,
Brother Hassan.
Yeah, it's a difficult point. We have much discussion here in Germany because of this point. I remember when I was a child, I fasted this time. Yes, and it's, I think it's the child they are exempt of fasting. I think that's not the problem. If the child can't fasting, it's not a problem. It's not a must for childs to fasting. But if they want to train it, I will take the way, like Sister Jumana said, to begin with 8 hours, 10 hours, 12 hours, and then inshallah they get have an idea how to test himself for the fasting. Yeah, I think it's also an individual situation. Yes, but I remember my child was age of 10 years. They did fasting as the last year. Okay, they was at home, and so it was possible. But if childs are in the school and they're playing and so on, I think it's a little bit difficult. So we have to look which age we can use or we can mention. It's very difficult. It's a theology. It's not only a medicine question or point. I think it's a social and it's a religious and spirit. There are many points you have to think about it before you I can give a answer, because I can't give a fatwa. Therefore, I'm not a alim, but I can give an idea of the medical way. So I think to bring it up a little bit, to train a child with 10, 11, and over it, it's okay. It's every day, some hours more, and then inshallah they can do it.
Thank you. We've got a few more questions, if that's all right. So Mr. Ali Haider, he's a long distance runner. His age is 82 and he runs every day before iftar 8 to 10 kilometers. Is that harmful, he's asking? Or what can he kind of do to minimize any harm?
MashaAllah. First of all, MashaAllah, 82 and what? And he's
8 to 10 kilometers.
Yeah.
Like marathon running.
So, to be honest, this is a very medical question, but I can only point out that everyone is different. So if he can tolerate it, maybe someone else can't. And he must actually visit his physician and check his parameters, blood levels, and also check his blood pressure and everything else, because only his physician can actually answer this question, his own physician, in my opinion. Maybe Dr. Hassan can answer that.
Yeah, mashallah, and yes, I think 82, I read correctly, 82 years, and mashallah, may Allah give you more power that you have. I think it's important to check his body, to check, like Sister said, blood pressure, frequent, your vital parameter, and but if you know the situation, and I don't know if you were athletic before or anything like this, but you have to care about yourself, to look how is your body, how every with this age you can you know yourself, and I think it's very important to care for drinking enough, for get fruits enough, and inshallah, perhaps this presentation gives you some ideas and inspiration to eat in a better way, or break your fasting in a better way, inshallah. But that's what I can say.
Thank you. There's another question by Brother Radha saying, I'm doing a job that is mentally demanding, so very mentally stressful job. Are there methods to be productive during a workday in the fasting time? And I can kind of empathize, because sometimes if you have a mentally very stressful job, that can be even more draining than a physically stressful job. Yeah. And any tips for that?
I will also comment, if that's okay. For that, I can say breaking your fast wisely, as mentioned in the presentation, will help you to have this, will help you to have energy during the day. So for cognitive, let's say cognitive or mental health, you can first cut sugary drinks or food. So cut out any carbohydrate during iftar or during sahur. This is very, very important if you want to feel less stressed during Ramadan and also the entire year. The second thing is to also try to avoid food that is rich with the bad fat, okay, or high fat diet, and try to eat the good fat, which is actually in nuts, and also lots of seafood. This will help you in maintaining a mental health, in having a healthy mental health. Yeah. We can't hear you, Dr. Ajaz.
That also links in with the next question. Can the doctors please let us know examples of food we can eat to promote our cognitive abilities and increase focus and concentration? So as Jumana said, certainly kind of low-fat food, healthy food, a combination of slow-release carbohydrates. So you don't want to have very sugary food, which releases the sugar quickly and then drops it. You want kind of fiber, oats and cereals, which slowly reduce the carbohydrates. Obviously, vitamins. Yeah, any other suggestions?
Yeah, and the seafood and also nuts. Don't forget these two, because they have the good fat that we need for our brain function.
I agree. I have more ideas. Mashallah, there. She calls, I think, the most of the point, the most of the ideas of to eat. So I only agree.
So I think that's kind of most of our questions done, unless anyone wants to kind of raise his or her hand or post any more questions. Oh, sorry, there's another question. You mentioned to cut out carbohydrates. Do you mean soft and complex carbohydrates? I think what we meant is cut out sugar, so which are very simple carbohydrates. Complex carbohydrates, like in starchy food or with fibrous food, they would be still good, yeah, because they're slow release carbohydrates. Right. Okay. Yes. Yeah, I think hopefully this was an enjoyable and session, and most of the questions. Oh, I think there are another couple of questions. No, anyway. Yeah, it was a very enjoyable session, and I think we took a lot of things away to improve not just our health but also improve our fasting. And may Allah Ta'ala approve our fasts, our du'as. I want to say a big thank you to Jumana, who did a lot of research and prepared the presentation. A big thank you to Hassan, who kind of stepped in with his medical expertise. And of course, a big thank you to Shifa, who is in the background, but she and her team made this webinar possible and allowed us to share the global IMI platform. And of course, a big thank you to everyone who took out their time and listened to us. And sorry, I also wanted to, and before I kind of finish, I wanted to just call Dr. Waji Rizvi if he can say a few words in conclusion. He's the founder, basically, of Imamia Medics International, and he's been kind of the kind of person whom we have to be very thankful for starting this movement, starting this in our organization in the first place. So if I could call Dr. Waji Rizvi, you're online.
Thank you so much, Brother Ejaz Haider. I truly appreciate it. I'm just a little humble servant. Thank you so much for the kind introduction. I'm just so thrilled and amazed and happy to be part of this webinar. And I'm looking at all your activities in Germany and Europe and Austria and UK. And mashallah, I'm very, very happy the way you all are moving this process forward. And today's webinar was just phenomenal. The contribution by our esteemed panelists, Dr. Hassan, yourself, as well as Sister Jumana, was just outstanding. So I really want to congratulate you and wishing all of you happy Ramadan. And with just one request, that we are trying to sponsor about 25,000 baskets for people all around the world during the Ramadan. And if you can take this message forward and disseminate, inshallah, we'll be able to achieve our goal. Thank you so much, Dr. Haider.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. With this poster up, I would like to conclude the webinar. Thank you very much, everyone who took out their time to listen, and have a blessed Ramadan. Please look out at the Imamia Medics Facebook site for announcements of further programs. I think there's a number of programs and events happening, webinars which are organized by Imamia Medics. So yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Assalamu alaikum. Thank you very much.